where you ended up, but as a South Carolina kid, talk me through the recruiting process before the Gamecocks came knocking.
Wow. It's years ago, long time ago. First of all, I was in a small town called Emmons, South Carolina, and the recruiting for me was kind of very slow. I got my first offer going into my senior year from Vanderbilt. That was my first offer ever, which was a crazy moment for me. I'm like, offer, like coach, what are they talking about? They like, they're gonna pay for your school and you're gonna be able to keep playing football this, that, and third. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I ended up with 8 offers actually. I went to one camp during my high school process and just being recruited by the Gamecocks, like the team that I always watched growing up and been a fan, was crazy. So they actually offered me in the locker room at a Coastal Carolina game, and I committed like right on the spot, and I didn't tell my mom until like 2-3 days later.
Okay, so what was that conversation like? Like, Mom, I've been keeping a secret from you, but it's a good one because I'm gonna be right down the road.
It was a crazy moment for her, but I told my dad, because you know my mom couldn't come in the locker room, so my dad already had knew. So like I was like, Dad, I just committed to the game. He's like, oh, you freaking out? I was like, don't tell Mom, we're not gonna tell her yet. So so when actually telling her, like she like freaked out. She was like, wow, son, like I'm proud of you, like everything you worked for, like it's finally, your dreams are finally coming true.
You grew up a Gamecock fan. You knew about the program. I'm sure you've been around the campus before, but what was it like on that campus after signing on the dotted line? You're not just a fan of the Gamecocks anymore, you are one.
When I first got to campus, like it was like a shocker. Like you don't have your mom or dad coming in your room, knocking you, slapping you in the head, telling you to get up and get ready to class. You don't have that no more. So it's like kind of like the time management part at the beginning of college was kind of like new. Waking up on your own, and you got workouts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So you go from workouts to the class, and you be up from 5 o'clock in the morning, probably like 8, 9 at night. And it's kind of like you got to find your like a daily routine to like eat and do all the things you need to do throughout the day.
In South Carolina, like you said, a small town. How did you keep from feeling overwhelmed?
I've always been a humble person. My parents installed that to me when I was a kid. My dad was my little league football coach growing up, and like he's always like, you ain't did nothing yet, this, that, and the third. So it's kind of like instilled like my mom say, like to this day, she's like, how do you feel? I'm like, Mom, it just feel normal. Like she was like, you could be proud of yourself, this, that, and that. I was like, it's just like how I am. I can't help it.
Yeah. Some injuries along the way. A couple hurdles. How did you remain positive through all that?
My stepmom and dad and the coaching staff we had there for us, Coach Muschamp and like Brian McClendon is like the receiver coach, which like he thinks he my dad or whatever, but like we kind of had that bond. And just him, like he faced adversity when he was playing. Like he played in Chicago and then tore his knee up, so he kind of already been there. And guys like Marcus Lattimore, which is a part of the team, like he faced the same thing I did. So it kind of like talking to them guys and like just taking advantage of like the game wasn't fully completely taken away from me. Like there's ways back, so I kind of had the mindset was like I'm going to attack rehab like I attack the practice field in games.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. You got to go up against future NFL picks throughout your entire career there. How did that help you as a player?
It helped me as a player. Like every player has his strengths and weaknesses, and that's why like the film room is very important nowadays. Just the SEC in general is kind of, people compare it to the NFL because you got big guys, you got linemen running to the ball, and it's like everything's just physical. Like I kind of feel like playing in the SEC really kind of give you like a step ahead to like going into the NFL.
Yeah. And then while you were still at South Carolina, maybe in some of those earlier years, how motivating was it to see your guys move on into the NFL and say, hey, I was making some plays against him in spring ball. I might be able to follow his path there.
As far as defensive wise, my years there, I don't think we had a guy that really went high in the draft, to my knowledge. But one guy that I became close with when I first got there was like Farrell Cooper.
Yeah.
And he's still in the league now, still playing. So I kind of like, when he was there, I was kind of like trying to do the things that he was doing because he was just like abusing defenses. Like that's just what he did. Like he was a playmaker. Just kind of following his footsteps and how he went about the game and just taking tips from him throughout the process.
And what was your moment? Maybe it was a practice, a game, but what was that moment where you realized I'm having a lot of success, and if I keep this up, I'm gonna be playing on Sundays?
Facing adversity was kind of playing a role in that because I really didn't feel like my first 3 years there, like I was hurt. I played, had probably like 12 games in like 2.5 years. So I would say really 2017 at the beginning of that year, had 6 touchdowns in 2.5 games, and here come a broken ankle. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I come back from the broken ankle, and then I supposed to play the last 4 games of my senior of that year, and I ended up breaking my foot. So then that happened. So I'm just like, geez. So I did the whole surgery, everything. Then I came back this year, was still like in the practice phase out there in the game because I really ain't been hit in like a year and a half. So and then the middle of the season came, and I was like, it's really taking off.
Yeah, nice. Now, you're going to be getting ready for games on Saturday nights now, getting ready for games on Sunday, and you're going to turn on the TV and see your former teammates out there taking the field without you. What's that going to feel like?
Oh man, it's crazy. Like throughout the draft process, like every chance that I got, like I was around the guys. Like they had spring practice and spring game. Like I'm there, I'm watching them. Like I'm always there whenever I get a chance. It's just a crazy feeling because like that brotherhood that you built with that team that you have in college, like it's real. Like for us the receiver room, like Brian Edwards, guys like that. He was a freshman when I was a junior, so like that brotherhood and like you know everything about almost everybody on your team, and then just getting drafted and you got to figure out like who the real guys and who the pretenders, and so you got to do the whole thing all over again.
What makes a player great is that their best moments come against the best competition. And that game against Clemson, that iconic game with 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, I believe. How does that prepare you for the NFL? Because now every game needs to be your best game.
Really just I didn't take that game different than any other game. It was just the game plan that we had, and we knew what their weaknesses was. And I'm in the NFL now, so I'm pretty sure coaches know a whole lot more than coaches in college for as game planning and stuff. But just going out there and just continue to be the player I always been.
If I go to that receiver room right now and I say, what did you guys learn most from Deebo Samuel, what would they say?
Ooh, physicality, and the way I attack practice. So I treat practice just like it's a game. Like if I see a guy coming to tackle me, he's my teammate, I still ain't gonna let up on him. It's just a part. It's just how you prepare. You got to practice the way you play.
What are you gonna miss most about game days?
Ooh. Carolina walk. Carolina walk, and then just pregame and just playing with the guys.
What in the world does a Florida kid do going all the way to California for JUCO?
Just chasing the dream, I guess. I really liked the program out there at College of the Canyons. And just when I went out there, it made me feel like, I was in that college experience. So that was something that, I wanted.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what jumps out, the fact that you're willing to go 4,000 miles to chase that dream. Take me through those days at CLC. Everyone knows you're working at Six Flags Magic Mountain, but in the back of your mind, it seems like that dream never left. You knew you were going to make it one day.
Yeah, so right when I first got there, they had this college showcase where college coaches came. So from that point, I put on the show. Coaches, they liked what they saw. They told me what I needed to work on. So that's what I dedicated myself to, is just getting involved more in the weight room and just learning more about the receiver position. So when the season comes, I was going to be able to, light it up.
How did you balance that frustration in high school, knowing that you had the talent, but for whatever reason, schools just weren't willing to take that risk?
It was very frustrating, and other times I was asked, why? But at the end of the day, I was like, you can't make no excuse. It is what it is. You gotta, take that next step.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously worked out for you. So coming out of JUCO then, what was it about Oklahoma that you knew that was your future home?
Just, going there winning tradition, winning and playing on the big stage was something that I definitely wanted through the recruiting process. Me, being doubted, I wanted to play on the biggest stage, that they was going to play the best teams, and I was going to be able to play against those guys. So, and just when I went out there, Coach Riley, I loved it, and just the players around was like a family atmosphere. So.
Talk about being a JUCO guy. All JUCO guys have that bond, that brotherhood, because that grind is unlike anything else.
Yeah, I still talk to all my JUCO friends. We still close to this day.
Yeah.
While I'm out here, I'm probably gonna go see something with my boys
Sure,
Saturday
yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool how that struggle can bring people so much closer together.
And although you're one of the top receivers taken in this previous draft, it seems like that chip on your shoulder ain't going anywhere.
No.
So you make it to Oklahoma, and you got to play with two Heisman-winning quarterbacks. You got to learn from one of the greatest offensive minds that has come about in Lincoln Riley. Just those first days of going into a D1 program, your head spinning, how long did it take you to learn and get comfortable in that system?
Probably took me about week 5, and I early enrolled. So it took me a minute. Just, trust everything and just to know what Coach Riley was saying. He's so smart. It once I figure it out, we out there just playing, doing what we wanted to do.
Were there any adjustments going from one Heisman-winning quarterback to the other?
Yeah, at first, it wasn't a smooth transition, but that's where you put in the work at it. Anytime, if you just think talent gonna just get you to where you need to be, then you gonna be in there for a rude awakening. Yeah, it took countless, every day, and I give credit to Kyler. Every day he made sure we were throwing, even though I made sure, he was ready to throw. And from the get-go, from the time Baker left, we were throwing. We were going to Texas. I'm going to where he at. Yeah. We were just trying to get it right.
Right. You guys have one of the most dynamic offenses back-to-back years. What was it like around campus time? You guys were superstars, man. You guys were superstars.
Yeah, I mean, fans always show love. The students on campus, they always show love. And they always, for the most part, just treat it as regular. Of course, they get excited sometimes, but most part, I had a lot of friends on campus that was not athletes, so it was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you go from Florida all the way to California, and you come about halfway back to Oklahoma, covering the country. What have you learned about yourself?
I just learned, that I'm very, nothing really can't get to me. And I feel like I can adjust to anything, anywhere, no matter what. And I think I give credit to my mom. Just seeing what she went through is nothing can really, waver me from what I'm trying to get to.
What is it that Lincoln Riley taught you that you definitely know can help you on the next level?
Just how to practice and the standard to hold yourself to. Because at the end of the day, it's a team sport, but you got to make sure you hold yourself to a high standard so you can be that chess piece for your team. And just knowing your role. Everybody got a role. Just doing your role to the best of your ability.
What made your guys' success this last year so much more impressive is it's one thing to come on the scene, putting up points and, catching defenses off guard, but the secret was out about halfway through the year. These guys can score from anywhere on the field and you still continued success. So was there a preparation change halfway through the year or at any point, or was it just Oklahoma offense is Oklahoma offense?
It was really the intensity level of the standard. We practiced probably, I ain't gonna lie, our Tuesday practice is harder than every game we ever have. So we practice so hard, we catching in practice with full gear in the middle of the season, catching screens, really trying to take it 60 yards. So when we get in the game, it's just natural, you just want to score.
Your cousin Antonio Brown has had his success in the NFL as well as college. What were you able to take from him throughout this whole process? Because you guys took maybe not the same journey, but he himself felt like he was overlooked and underappreciated and came in the NFL and burst on the scene. So what were you able to learn from that?
Just his whole mentality as well is similar. You have no excuse. He tell me all the time, I went 6th round, you just went 1st round. You got no excuse. And, he had a lot of success. I done trained, hand in hand with him. So I just know what I can do. And, I just look to learn from him and keep, just getting advice. The best advice he gave me is just work hard, your mentality, and just no days off.
You sit here now, a 1st-round draft pick. Have you really taken time to look back at all those years working at Magic Mountain, that uncertainty of being a JUCO player, balling in high school, and even though you're putting up the numbers, no one's really giving you an opportunity. Have you really taken a moment to sit back and take it all in?
Not really. It was when I got drafted, it was images just going through my head of that's crazy. But I didn't really sit back and really just, I ain't trying to get in my feelings that much. Yeah.
What advice would you give to anybody out there who's killing it in high school, but for whatever reason, schools just aren't giving them the opportunity?
I say, the same thing I told myself is you rather try everything you can and not make it than give up. And, saying, where I grew up, it's always, back in my day, I was this and I was that. I was nah. I could have went to, D2 or D3. And I seen guys go to the NFL from those schools, but I know what I wanted. So I was either it's gonna work or it's not. So I could still go to the D2 after junior college. So just lay it all on the line and, don't hold back.
From your first game as an Oklahoma Sooner until now, what are you most proud of that you added to your arsenal?
I feel from the time I got there to the time I left, I became a more complete receiver. When I got there, I knew I could run deep. I knew I could pretty much run past anybody. But, over the year, I felt I could score from anywhere, no matter where you put me at. I probably didn't want to run the out route when I first got there. But, my second year, put me on anything, out, whatever you want to throw it to me.
Yeah, now you're going to spend your Saturday nights getting ready for games on Sunday, but when you're watching Oklahoma in prime time, Jalen Hurts now at the helm of the offense, but who should we be looking out for that's going to help him keep Oklahoma on top?
Say most definitely, all those guys, 'cause I can't just say it one day and they're going to get mad at me, but CeeDee Lamb, hey, he a beast, he definitely going to do his thing, he gonna help Jalen, he has a mentality about him, when he gets the ball, he wants to score. So, and just, our whole team, I'm looking forward to seeing them guys.
And when you're watching those games, what are you gonna miss most?
I'm miss just being out there scoring all the points with him. Yeah, for sure.
Hollywood Brown is the name that was kind of given to you, but those closest to you call you Jet, and I know you prefer that one, so where did that come about?
So when I was Pop Warner, I was probably winning Super Bowls every year. we were on top, but my little league coach, he named me Jet Fuel.
Okay.
So, you know, that was up until I got to, you know, high school. They took the fuel off, and it was just like Jet.
They had to shorten it.
Yeah, everybody just called me Jet, and then I was just like, everybody called me that. At one point in time, I'm like, yo, how you even know that's my name? So, yeah, that was just a name that I had, and then, you know, the Hollywood Brown came about. So.
And now you get drafted to a team with a quarterback that you were familiar with from high school, and I'm sure you guys might have crossed paths in Pop Warner as well. How special is that Florida bond? You guys stick together no matter what college you go to, no matter what NFL team you end up on. There seems to be that real brotherhood.
Yeah, like Broward County is like, we know each other. Like I root for every guy.
Yeah.
Like it's like we so close because in the off season we all train together anyway. So it's like when we go to these schools, we want to see each other ball out. It's never no competitiveness. So now to be playing with Lamar, and you know, I know what he went through as a kid. Like, it's just crazy to me, you know, that we at this level and we really like contributing. And just surreal.
If somebody wants to see Damian Harris at his best, I would say
I'm putting on all of it.
I have a lot, but shoot.
Probably Nebraska my sophomore year. I had like 3 catches for like 116 yards, like 2 touchdowns. Like it was a pretty good game.
Alabama. Both national championships, those are probably my 2 best games. I try to just be at my best whenever we need it. So.
there's a stretch between the Florida State game, my junior year, Florida State, until probably Mississippi State or Auburn, last couple games, that whole regular season. And then the Clemson game after that, those were some good games. Like Arkansas, Texas A&M, those are some good ones.
It depends on what you're trying to see. If you were trying to see my unselfishness, I'd say Penn State. I didn't catch a pass, but I had some key blocks to help us win the game. My big playability against Northwestern and Maryland as well. But my special teams ability against in the Rose Bowl. So any type of flavor you're looking for, I got a game for you.
With game to watch on me, I say Pitt. And they know to score that game last year.
Wake Forest game, the bowl game. I think I broke the Birmingham Bowl record for the most yards in the game. I had like 315 all-purpose yards. I had a long touchdown run out of the backfield. I had a 95-yard kick return that tied me for the NCAA record for most touchdowns in a career. So yeah, it was a pretty good game.
Probably the Liberty game. When I played Liberty, I had a lot of yards that game, and we ended up winning the game. We broke the single game receiving record, so that was a big game for me.
I'd say like the next game, something like that. Yeah, smooth, right? Y'all like that, don't you? Yeah.
From under-recruited
Yep.
and overlooked to a Dallas Cowboy, how does it feel?
Man, it just feels like a dream come true, a blessing. You know, it just shows what God can do. You just stay committed, stay faithful to yourself and faithful to God, and just let everything work out. And that's why I'm here now.
I'm sure you wanted this moment from when you were in high school, but early on, how did you keep your confidence up when a lot of schools really didn't see the potential that you knew that you had?
It just goes like the tough part of football, just dealing with the adversity. You know, things don't always go your way when you want them to, or how you think it should go. Like when you know you're just as good as guys and you don't get the scholarship or the looks, you just gotta keep grinding and keep working, and whatever you wanna do in life, you just gotta keep working towards it, and anything is possible.
And how did having that chip on your shoulder from high school to going to Memphis, a team that balls game in and game out, but still may not get the respect from the rest of college football up until now?
I mean, that just, me having that chip on my shoulder just kept me humble. You know, even when I did start to get the attention that I deserved, like I still just kept the same mentality as if I hadn't did anything or accomplished anything, and kept working hard and doing what I did to get me there so I could stay there and get even better.
You kept your head down, you stayed focused, and it paid off, but what was the moment when you realized I have a potential to play on Sundays if I keep this up?
I would say my freshman year when I got to college, and you know, it was my red shirt year, and I didn't play, but still I was on the scout team, and I was able to do the things that I was doing in high school and make plays like how I was in high school in the next level, and I ended up getting like the scout team player of the year. And then the next year came around, I played, I was a freshman All-American, special teams player of the year. Then the year after that, I was special teams player of the year. Then I got the Walter Camp All-American. And then I just from my red shirt year, I just realized that, you know, God blessed me with something special. And as long as I stayed on course and stayed out of the way, anything was possible.
You can run the ball, you can catch the ball, you can return kicks, you can do it all. How does that versatility help you going forward?
You know, in the league, they always tell you the more you can do, the better your chances are of staying and having an established role on the team. You know, even if you feel like you're a dynamic athlete or a dynamic player at your position, if that's all you can do, then you're somewhat limited, because, you know, there's guys that can do what you can do and also play on special teams. So when it comes to that 53-man roster, I mean, what's going to keep you from getting cut and keep you on the team? Like, what's the difference?
And what is it about that Memphis mindset that gives you that perspective that you have? Because a lot of guys say, nah, I'm a receiver, I want to play receiver. I'm a tight end, I came here to play tight end, but you're willing to go out there and do whatever it takes to help the team.
I mean, just from where I come from, just, you know, everything that I've gotten, it wasn't like it was given to me. Like, I earned whatever I've gotten and received. Like, just getting it out the mud. Like, Memphis, our motto is grit and grind, and that's how we look at our city, just a grit and grind city. Like, whatever you want to do, or if that's really what you want to do, you got to work for it. And, you know, I'm not scared to play special teams or to line up on kickoff or kick return or punt, just being a playmaker all over the field.
And you grew up a Memphis fan, you grew up right down the road from the school, but what was it like going to a familiar campus, but for the first time as a member of the campus?
It was crazy, you know, just being from Memphis, you know, living in Memphis all my life and playing for the home team. So it just felt like you had the whole city behind you. You know everybody in Memphis. You know, you've been living there all your life. And then I didn't have any worries, like didn't have food worries. I could go home and eat whenever I wanted some food. You know, my dad had a barbecue restaurant, so I can just go over there and eat, or call my mom, ask for some food. So it was a great experience.
Do a lot of teammates try to latch on to you whenever you would go home and get some barbecue?
Yeah, I had a few people come over, but yeah, can't get everybody secret. Can't let everybody know.
Does May 3rd mean anything to you?
May 3rd, May 3rd.
The mayor of Memphis made that a very special day.
Yeah, he did.
Tony Pollard Day. Talk about
Man.
that, man. How awesome is that?
Like, the whole, like, environment, like, I wasn't even expecting it. Like, it was a lady that always comes in there, and they used to call her the mayor of Whitehaven. And she came in there and talked to me. She was like, they wanted to do something for me since I got drafted to the Cowboys, like, have a celebration. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So when I got there, I seen all the people there. I'm like, then they had pictures, they had posters, all
So you know
everywhere.
something's up.
I knew something was up. Then I seen they had the mayor there, and that's when he came and gave me my own day. And I wasn't even expecting that. It just was a blessing.
You tear it up at the high school level. Everyone in Memphis knows your name. Some schools don't see the value in you. Your hometown school sees the value in you. You guys trailblaze a path, bring Memphis football back where it's supposed to be. And now you will always be remembered for that. How does that affect your memories of your time in Memphis?
I mean, it just shows making the most of your opportunities, and that's basically what I did. I wasn't just a highly recruited guy out of high school, so I didn't get the big SEC offers and all the ACC offers and things like that. I stayed home. Memphis was my first offer, so I wanted to stay loyal to them, and I just made the most out of it, and now I'm here.
What motivation would you give to a kid right now in high school who knows he has the talent, but for whatever reason, schools don't see it?
I mean, don't get discouraged by people's opinions of you and, the criticisms and the critics and things like that, because they're always going to be there. They're going to talk, but just stay true to yourself, work hard, and, don't let anyone outwork you. If that's really what you want to do, work for it and keep God with you, and anything is possible.
You and Darrell Henderson are leaving that running back room. Who did you pass the keys to before you left?
We passed the keys to Patrick Taylor, number 6, yes, sir.
And what do you hope to see out of him next season?
Man, I expect him to do big things for us next season. We have a bunch of young backs in there that are ready to step up into a bigger role. Kenny Gainwell, Tim Taylor, Marquavius. We have a lot of backs in there, so it's not like we just had a complete drop-off. So I think they'll do pretty good.
You're not going to Bright Lights, big city, a team that's playing just about every primetime game possible. Memphis may not be seen as one of the bigger schools, but how have they prepared you for this big moment?
Just being myself, staying humble, working for everything that I've gotten, and, not expecting anything to be given to me, and keeping that same mindset going into camp, going into OTAs, and, training. So just staying the person that I am and working hard.
And when you're sitting in your hotel on Saturday nights, getting ready for those games on Sunday, you're gonna turn on some Memphis football, and you're not gonna be out there. What's that gonna feel like?
I mean, I'm always cheer my boys on, so it's gonna feel like I'm right there on the field with them.
Yeah. And what are you gonna miss most?
Definitely the locker room, just the environment, being with the team. Guys that you sweat, shed tears with, blood with. Just that environment, just being so close together. And just being cool with the whole entire locker room and just the vibe.
DK Metcalf. You make me look really big, man. Make me look really big. So, Ole Miss, you go up right down the street and you follow your father's footsteps. Why?
I was all about loyalty. And at that time, I wasn't thinking about just a 4-year decision. It was a lifetime decision for me. So just going to Ole Miss and staying home, I can always go back and, I'm always taken care of.
Yeah. And take me through that process. Your high school, the offers starting to roll in, and some big-time schools who have had a lot of success, and you pushing those to the side. What was that moment like when you say, Dad, I'm going to be a running Rebel?
I had committed to Ole Miss 2 days after they offered me, so I mean, it really wasn't a hard decision for me. But I would say through the process, I wanted to go try and visit another school, but I'm glad I didn't send her today. But yeah, the process was pretty easy for me.
That's great. Now, what's the balance of that? Because on one hand, you want to follow your father's footsteps, but you also want to be your own person, your own player. So how did you handle that in your mind as far as, I'm DK Metcalf, my father was a great player, but I'm DK Metcalf?
All right. Growing up, everybody always established me as Terrence Metcalf's son, but now he's getting recognized as DK Metcalf's dad. So I would say some of my hard work has paid off, but just having him as a role model just to look up to, I wouldn't say it's a negative, because he's been where I'm trying to get. So, just trying to follow his footsteps and just work how he worked each and every day.
And you're following his footsteps. What advice did he have for you as you took the leap from high school to college?
Just keep working and, don't ever change. Don't just be myself and don't ever try to impress anybody. Just basically just be myself and outwork everybody.
And what about now, from college to pro? What advice do you have for you there?
It's pretty much the same thing.
Exact
Yeah.
advice. So.
Don't let anybody change you. Just continue to be the person that I am and just continue to work.
You look back on your career at Ole Miss, and you're known for a lot of things. What do you hope, say, after year 3 or 4 as a Seattle Seahawk, people can say about DK Metcalf?
That I wasn't a bust in the league. I'm trying to, speak for big receivers and play for big receivers that, we're not just big, fast, and can't play football. We're not just athletic, we're football players too. So just establishing myself as a big receiver.
And how do you do that? I mean, like you said, a lot of big receivers get put into this type. A lot of small running backs get put into this type. What are the steps you need to take to prove I'm not just a speedster? I got more than one route. I got a whole route tree, and when I get the ball, I'm a problem.
Continue to work and stay in the offensive playbook. I got a great quarterback in Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you do.
Great offense. The O-line is experienced. Got Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin, and his mentors up there. So just, take their advice and just learn as much as I can from them. And, continue to watch film on big receivers that have been successful like Calvin and Julio and Randy Moss and those type of players.
And what have you taken from those guys? I mean, I'm sure you've been watching those guys since you started playing Madden when you were 10 years old.
Like Julio can break down like he's 5'10". Calvin Johnson can take a simple shallow route to the house. So
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
Just watching and seeing what they did during the games, and I know there's a lot of behind the scenes work, like studying throughout the week. I'm trying to, get better at that and just trying to, establish myself in the offense first.
Ole Miss guys, one thing that nobody can deny is they find success on the NFL level. Why?
We work. I mean, that's just, all we've known, especially the receivers. We come in, we push each other, and we just demand greatness from each other.
Yeah, I mean, even outside of receivers, offensively, anybody who comes out of Ole Miss is going to find success, and early. Defensively as well. Are the practices different? Is the spring game different? At what point do you realize, man, we got some guys out here? Because year after year, whoever gets drafted succeeds.
I believe it's just a mindset that we come in. The greats are going to stick out everywhere. So at Ole Miss, we always demanded greatness, like I said, and we just pushed each other. It's really just the team and the mindset that the coaches established in us early.
So a lot of people have to decide what school they're headed to. You had to decide what position you were gonna play.
Right.
So take me through that.
Well, I finally decided to go to Georgia. I was choosing between like Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State at first. And then finally, the coaching change happened with Alabama and Georgia. Coach Smart went to Georgia. Coach Pruitt went to Alabama. So it was like the main reason going to Georgia was like Coach Pruitt. So I was like, dang, like Coach Pruitt leaving. Like I don't know where to go now. So now I'm really stuck, like where I need to go. And so finally, I just started visiting Georgia and Alabama like constantly. Like which one I like more, like outside of football. Like if I wasn't gonna play football, would I come here? That's kind of was my major like decision, like major like factor in my decision. Finally, ultimately, I picked Georgia. Then I got there, whatever. So I'm like, hey, well, I'm gonna play receiver, DB, and then kind of like a lot of people in my head was like, man, you need to go DB, because it's longevity. You get more money off rap. Like, you can go first. Like, so I'm like, all right, let me play DB. So I started off with DB, man, and after the first year, I was just like, I want the ball in my hand. Like, I'm tired of backpedaling and running.
Yeah,
I just want to catch the ball and
yeah.
everything. So, but then my sophomore year came in the spring. I talked to Coach Smart. I was like, hey, Coach, I think I want to score. I want the ball in my hands. And then in the spring, I was playing both ways a lot. And then by the time the spring game came, he was like, we're just going to keep you at receiver. And ever since then, I ain't looked back.
That's great. Now, not a lot of people say no to Nick Saban. Not a lot of people say no to Urban Meyer. So what was it about Coach Smart?
I think it was something different. Like, it's just like, you can go to Alabama, you can go to Ohio State, you know what they expect, And then being from Georgia, it's like something like different. Like, I want to change it. I want to do something different. And, I think our class, like the first class that really started off, like with me, Jacob Eason, with Jacob at Washington, but me, Eisenhower being Cleveland. Like us, like we just like being from Georgia, whatever, we wanted to change it, see something different, try to bring something back to Athens that ain't never been back in a long time. And I think that was like the ultimate factor, just being at home. And then after we did that, man, we had a rough first year, but it kicked up after that, and now Georgia really like a powerhouse now. So I guess we did our job, if you want to say it.
And how special does it feel to look back forever on Georgia games knowing I helped build that? I helped transition into a great team.
It feels good. We tell all the little classes that come in, like, hey, we still got the best class come through here, like, we started this, like, because it wasn't for us, y'all probably wouldn't have came to Georgia, and but I think Coach Smart came in and changed the culture, and the tradition that he played at Georgia, but like the tradition that he want to bring and the culture that he want to bring, it kind of like made his first class buy into it, and therefore when it bought in, it just kind of like trickled down to all the other classes to like, like this how it gonna be, this how we should win, and you coming from national championship, SEC championships, you got a degree, you got like a formula of how to win, and he brought that to Georgia, and we just had to buy in, and once we bought in, it was like, it's the sky's the limit. So.
Seems like it was easy for the Georgia guys to buy in because you grew up watching that school and wanting better for the program, and then you got the opportunity to do that. How did you get the non-Georgia guys to see it as the same way that the local guys saw it?
Well, I think it wasn't too hard. Because after our class, the classes that was coming in, it was more of like, once they got there, we set the standard off rip. It was like, this how it gonna be, this how we gonna work out, this how we gonna practice, this how we gonna hit, this how we gonna take care of ourselves, this how we gonna control things. Like, and I think it's just a process of like, as soon as you get there, it's like, okay, these guys, this is how it gonna be. So let's buy in now, and then, this how it gonna be. Especially like after my sophomore year, we went to the national championship and stuff like that. Guys coming in like, we could do that again. So we know what it's supposed to be like. I think once you have repeated success in something, a repetition of something, guys come in already know what it is, what the deal is, like for example, like you talking about Nick Saban, like I think when you go to Alabama, you know what's expected, what you're supposed to do. So now we kind of got that at Georgia, like when you commit to Georgia, you know what it is, what work got to take place to do this and do that. So that's what we try to kind of build. So
yeah. 5-star, I'm not even gonna put a position on you because you were an athlete really coming out of high school. So when you showed up on campus, what was it about having experience as a quarterback that helped you as a receiver? What was it about having experience as a receiver that helped you originally as a DB?
I think it just goes to the quarterback aspect. Playing quarterback through our high school, you kind of know what the quarterback thinking, especially like if you running a route, you like, okay, I think I know
where he want me at. I can see what's in front of me. I see what's around me. So it's kind of like use some more awareness or more knowledge of like how to do certain things. And then as opposed to playing DB, you know, you can know what a receiver's thinking. Like, okay, I see his split is wide. So 9 times out of 10, he finna run an end breaking route or you know, a route that's coming right back to the quarterback. So you kind of can narrow down like different route trees or different routes they can do, you know, and you know, it just helps you that kind of way. So like I think just being that quarterback, it just ultimately just control what you kind of like, what you know on both sides of the ball. So.
And what was it like having a superstar receiver right on the other side of the field as you and Riley having so much success, and really a defense can't key on you because somebody keys on one, the other one's gonna hurt them.
Right, and that's good. You know, I learned a lot from Riley, especially coming to the offensive side my sophomore year, and I learned from him and Terry Godwin. That was really the vet in the room that we really looked to, you know, for guidance. And whenever we was lost and we need some help with something, you know, Terry was the main guy to help us with that. But definitely once we got our groove together, me and Riley, especially by our junior year, you know, it was a great bond. So we knew how to play with each other. You know, like we need to do this, we need to do that, and I think we held each other accountable for a lot of our actions that we did. We missed a ball, we did the wrong assignment. We was tough on each other, like, what you doing? Like, this, you don't supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to do this, you know. And we never take nothing personal. We knew it was all love, it was all business. This how we're supposed to be. I think that's a testament to how good we got as after years got on, because we was just holding each other accountable for what we was doing. And I think Terry was a big part of it too, because he made sure we held each other accountable. Also, we held him accountable as well. But so just having those guys in the room, it actually helped you become a better receiver, especially with guys that been doing it longer than you have. So just gotta take notes on that, and when you start feeling comfortable, you can start correcting them on their mistakes, and that's how we just got, we got closer as a group. So
being able to learn and being able to be close with everyone in the locker room is important to anyone's development as a football player, but you had a special situation. You were close with the offense and the defense because you spent time with both. So when you look back on the locker room, on your brothers, on the relationship that you had with them, I mean, top to bottom, you're close with everybody.
Right, yeah. I think that's kind of like my personality. You know, I think I'm honestly I'm a very likable guy. Like I don't look like be mean or like try to do everything. I try to be cool with everybody that I see. I don't meet strangers, if that makes sense. Like I don't meet strangers. If I see you, it's a conversation. It's, hey, how you doing? If I see you anywhere, I'm always gonna speak. So it's like more people look to me like, okay, yeah, he cool. Like he ain't on all that crazy stuff, anything like that. He just cool people. And then like you said, being on defense, you got close to defensive players that year. Then coming to offense for 2 years, it's like everything good. And I think the whole locker room was close with each other as well, because we always did things with each other. And I think that makes a good team as well when everybody bond with each other. That way, you can trust each other on the field. But yeah, like I said, I really don't meet strangers. So whenever I see somebody, it's always conversation. Always, let's do this, let's do that. And I always trying to be that guy, like to, be cool with everybody, and just be cool, laid back, calm, not crazy and that like that. So
I like that. So a lot of fear that some of the NFL guys have on some of the college guys. They worry if they can play on the big stage. But Georgia, every game is the big stage. So what lessons can you take from being under the bright lights from national championships, or maybe just a game against Georgia Tech? What was it like to be able to take those moments in big time games in front of a lot of people go forward?
I mean, you play in the SEC, they call the SEC the mini NFL, so I think like playing games like that back to back, playing games against like Alabama, playing against Notre Dame, big games like that, Auburn, it's just like, LSU, you play against top-notch NFL talent, I think SEC dominated the draft anyway, like every year. So it's like you playing against NFL guys, they're gonna be in the league, it's gonna be, a problem in the league, it's gonna be good in the league, and I think it prepares you better than a lot of conferences can prepare you. So definitely playing against 93,000 people, or in front of 93,000 people at Georgia, or playing against a powerhouse school like that, it prepares you differently, than I guess some other place can, And but I'm thankful. I think Coach Smart, he practiced the way we should practice, and it was hard. And then you go into the league, it's like like dang, I've been through this before. Like I already know what it's like. I know how to push through. I know what it's like to be tired. I know what it's like to be down, or like when it get hard, when adversity hit. Like I've been through this, so I know how to handle it. So I think when you coming from like a SEC powerhouse like that, it helps you through the hard times rather than the easy times.
You're going to still watch College Game Day. You might not be able to suit up for Georgia, but you're still going to be watching them. Whose name are we going to know this time next year?
At Georgia, I think I already know his name, DeAndre Swift. I mean, that guy got it all. He's the next great, especially coming out of Georgia. I think he's gonna do big things. I think his name gonna remember, and so I'm looking forward to see what he got to do this year.
Josie Jewell, I was a young freshman coming across the middle, and he laid the wood on me. Got popped a little bit, but that was my moment. It was like, man, like I'm here. Like this is real.
Welcome to college moment. I was a running back, and my running back coach always would get mad at me for when I would get tackled, I would stop running, and he would want you to get up and keep running again. So I'd always forget when I get tackled, like, oh, the play's over. And he got so mad at me one time that he made me run like a mile to go get him like a leaf or some leaf that he wanted, and then come back to practice. It was pretty embarrassing.
I don't know if you remember a guy named Ryan Anderson. It was my first blitz pickup in fall camp. And so I'm thinking like, you know, okay, good tempo, and then he's gonna stop. I just kind of stood there, and he did not stop. He did not stop.
I got these winter workouts, waking up at 4 a.m. to run and be miserable and get yelled at.
Got hit on a slant. It knocked the wind out of me, and I was just laying there, and coach was going crazy. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't breathe.
My first play of my college career was about a 50-yard touchdown pass.
See, I'm different because I went to Notre Dame, but I took my first exam and I got a 30% at Notre Dame. Yeah.
I think I threw Vernon Hargraves like 3 picks in practice when I first got to Florida. That was my welcome to college moment.
Got hit on the kickoff return. I got hit really hard. That's probably my wake-up moment. Like, I got to get right.
Probably my first touchdown was in the bowl game of my freshman year, and it was like I get hyped when I do something. So it was quite an experience.
I tore my shoulder up pretty early in my career. One morning I was riding my bike to the facility in my sling, and I hit a crack and I flew over my bike and ate crap. And I thought I messed up my shoulder again, but thankfully it was all right. But it was like 20 degrees out. I remember just thinking, damn, like I'm a freshman. I'm struggling right now, I'm swimming.